Hi everybody, it's Stephanie with Planning with Peanutty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm in my junk journal, and if you want to see how I put this junk journal together, it's from an old, out-of-date happy planner, turned it into a junk journal. But today I'm actually going to journal about a recent trip to Disneyland. So I printed out some pictures from our recent trip, and I'm just going to hang on to those. We'll try to work all those in. And I have some ephemera pieces that we collected, some shop bags, the guide maps. I collected everybody's guide maps at the end of our trip, and the tickets, a couple receipts, things like that. I realized some of these tickets are actually from an earlier trip. I was realizing that was too many there, but I definitely want to use those. I like that they have the date stamped on the back. And then I have some kind of decorative pieces, some California stickers there. These are some Disney ones. Let me see if I can help you see them a little bit better. Like this castle. Maybe we'll be able to work some of those. They are puffy, so they will add some bulk, but we're on discs, so I could always take out paper or put expander discs on. And then I have this stamp set that's also Disney that has some cute stamps. Maybe we'll be able to use some of those. And let's take a look. Okay, so let me go ahead and push these aside and grab that planner. I'm going to call it a planner because I'm used to calling disc-bound planners, but this one's actually a junk journal. So I'm just going to grab that junk journal. And I'm trying to look for papers that I think would work well with the pictures and the ephemera I have. So I pulled out a bunch. And I can take it off the discs to work on, which makes it nice and easy. I'm not having to work in a bound book. And I'm trying to decide what to do with these guide maps. And I know for sure that I want to cut one of the maps out and stick it in the junk journal. Now, I don't want the seam of the two papers to be right down Main Street because that's kind of a centerpiece of the map. So I kind of think I'll off-center it a little bit. There's this section through Frontierland that's a lot of greenery, so I think I could have that be the dead center seam. And then as I'm cutting it out, I'm trying to see if there were other elements on the rest of that map I could use. If maybe there's Disneyland logo or images of some of the characters we can use and try to save. So I'm just going to cut loosely around the entire park. And I love using the brochures and things that the parks give you. So if you go to the zoo, you could do this, or a museum, you know, hang on to those free brochures they hand you. Don't throw them away. You could put them in your journal. And they become ephemera. Like this Mickey in the corner, I'm going to save that Mickey. Yeah, so I don't want Main Street to be the center. I think slightly to the left there, again, through Frontierland, it's a lot of greenery and not cutting it right down Main Street. Okay, so I think I've got the placement I want. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down with a glue stick. I push those two papers together so that when I cut them and put them back on the discs, it'll show the whole map. So I'm trying to line up those holes too to make sure that they're across from each other. All right, and then just get a couple places that came up loose. Okay, so now I'm going to trim back between the two papers. And I do end up cutting the paper a tiny bit, but that's okay. All right, then we need to re-punch the holes there. All right, so I'm going to grab my Happy Planner punch. You could also use a single hole punch, and with a little pair of scissors, cut the stems. You would just need the measurements for the Happy Planner paper. Okay, so now let me see how that looks back in. All right, I think that's pretty cute. I kind of love the crazy busy papers that I put behind it. So I'm thinking with these tickets, I'm going to weed out the ones that were from an earlier trip and then just keep this most recent trip in here together. So at this one of the castle, I think is perfect for to be in the front. And then the rest of these we could tuck in that pocket. And then I'm seeing I definitely want to use this Mickey. He's got his hand out like he's presenting the park to you. And then we can use this Disneyland from the front, and I think guide map. I can cut guide map out too. So we'll have the Disneyland title and the guide map title we can use. And I'm just going to trim those down. Okay, so I'm thinking those will work for the corners. I'm just going to trim it a little closer. Careful using sharp objects. And then I thought maybe a picture in that corner, because I have this stack of pictures and I'm realizing I'm not using them yet. But I really like that Mickey being there presenting with his hand towards the park. So I definitely want to use Mickey there, but I'm starting to think, what am I going to do with all these pictures? Okay, so let's go ahead and start thinking about gluing these items down. I think I want to add a little more to the background. I know those papers are really busy, but just having the Disneyland title there seemed a little plain. So I grabbed my inks. I had swatched them in my junk journal so I could check to see the colors on those. And I'll put links to the products and tools I'm using in the description below. But I think I'm going to come in and stamp that castle on this left side behind where I'm going to put Disneyland. And then there's some balloon stamps that I think we could put on this right side. Not crazy how these look. I probably could have done something else with these stamps. Maybe put them on a different paper, cut those out, and then put them on. But I'm just going to layer this over them anyway, so I'm okay with that. And then this Mickey, I'm trying to decide if I should leave the castle in his background, but I figure I'm going to fussy cut around him so there's nothing behind him except the guide map and my paper. So I'm going to carefully fussy cut around Mickey. Luckily he didn't have a lot of tiny little pieces hanging off. He's a pretty basic shape. Okay. I like having a nice little sharp pair of scissors. These are non-stick scissors because I do cut a lot of stickers and things. Okay, so now we can glue Mickey on. There we go. Now he looks like he's presenting the guide map and not just the castle. All right, and then with the pocket, I think we'll just staple it on. My pockets tend not to stick down, you know, especially as I'm pushing papers up against where I have the adhesive. So I think we'll just staple those down. All right, so now that insert is done, I think we could even tuck the little receipts in that pocket as well. Okay, so then trying to see what paper I want on the other side because we're not done yet. We need to do something with all these guide maps and all those pictures. I think we could make a pocket for the guide map. I like this bright yellow, and I think we could just bring it lower and make a pocket there. So this time I'm going to use adhesive and then trim that off. So now we have a short pocket that we can tuck our guide maps in. Now again, see, my adhesive wasn't quite sticking, so I like that blue better than that light yellow, so stick those two pages together. But first I decided I'm actually going to staple that pocket down. Okay, so staple the pocket down. That holds it quite a bit better than the adhesive does. And then I'll glue that page down, so that will hide the inside of both pages that had staples on them. So we're hiding the backs of those staples by gluing those papers together. All right, and then I like that blue paper better than that light yellow polka dot. Okay, so then now our guide tucks nicely in there. And I think on the front of this pocket, we could use one of my pictures because we got to start using some of these. It's just all ephemera so far and no pictures. Okay, so I think this one of Main Street, it kind of shows Main Street during the fall, how they have it decorated, how busy the day was. Okay, we'll just mat that on that scrap paper that we cut from the pocket. All right, so let's go ahead and glue that one down. And then I think one of these puffy stickers, this one about magical memories, I think that'll work nicely. It's just over the blue part of the photo, the sky. Although it does add a lot of bulk. Okay, so now again, all I have left are a few guidebooks and all my pictures. So I wasn't sure, what am I going to do with the guidebooks and what am I going to do with all those pictures? So then I thought maybe I could put the pictures in the guidebook, as if the guide map here was a guide of our actual experiences there. Now it was too busy just right on the map. So I realized I need to cover it up, somehow make it a lighter color. So I could have painted the whole thing, but I worried about being able to fold it. So I think I'm just going to use paper to cover it up. So this is just regular copy paper. And I'm going to come in and glue it down with a glue stick. And then I wanted to make sure that all the folds would still fold. So I grabbed a bone folder. You could use a straight hard edge of anything, but I like using that bone folder there to get nice crisp creases so that the guide map will still fold up. So I'm covering again with the glue stick, the copy paper, making sure it still folds nice and crisp, and then trimming the excess off. All right, and we do that to the whole guide map. This one I didn't go off the edge because it kind of has this colorful border I thought would work okay. Plus, I didn't want to use so much paper. I'm using a lot of paper, I understand, but I didn't want to use just an obscene amount. Okay, so nice crease on these. Trying to use that ruler to help fold the whole line down. All right. A little bit more to go. Yeah, went through quite a bit of glue from the glue stick as well. But again, I didn't know how I was going to fit all those pictures and use the extra guide map. So this was a nice solution for both. All right, and the more paper we added, the little stiffer it got, a little harder to turn the pages. And we're adding glue, which was making it slightly damp, which also made it hard to kind of turn the pages. Okay. Yeah, that one was the only one that I had a problem with it wrinkling. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got the guide map with Disneyland still left on the front, with Mickey, kind of jack-o'-lantern Mickey, because it was October. And now I can come in and figure out how I want to place all the pictures. And I realized I kind of put the day together from morning to evening. And wrote on the back so I'd remember where I wanted to put each one. And unlike previous trips we were able to take years ago, on this trip we had to wear masks anytime we were indoors. We had to order meals online. So there were a lot of changes due to the pandemic that we had to make. So I wanted to document all those as well, because this was a unique trip for us where it was very different from other trips we had made to Disneyland. And then I didn't want all the pictures on one or two sides. So I tried to make sure at least each flap had one picture, and then I needed to trim them down so they'd fit better. Yeah, that white one is a picture of the mobile ordering process for the food. Okay. Yeah, playing around with placement on all of those. And I wanted to keep the background nice and clean, because I'm going to go back in and write now. Okay, so I grabbed my Papermate Flare. It's just a felt tip black pen. I like it. It has a nice bold tip. And then I'm just going to come back in and write about each picture. write about the experience, write about the changes, write about it being decorated for Halloween and for fall, write about being there with my family, the rides and we went on, the places we ate, the things we did. Okay, so then now I've got this guide map of our trip, how the trip went. So I think it turned out really cute and a lot of fun. I was able to fit all those photos in there, and I didn't think I was going to make it. And yet it still all folds up nice and neat. And can just be tucked in that pocket. All right, so there we go. Now we have the final version. We've got that guide map tucked in the pocket, that picture of Main Street during the fall, and then the guide map on the back with our tickets and receipts tucked in a ticket pocket. And I love using ephemera that they themselves give you. You know, if you can get menus from places and brochures from places, you might as well do so. Use those in your journal. And I must say, I'm mighty pleased with myself for figuring out how to get those photos in there without having it be like 10 pages long. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Click like if you like this video, subscribe to see more junk journal videos. I do have a junk journal playlist going if you wanted to see the other pages I've done so far. And if you want to see how I put the junk journal together from an old happy planner. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.